All right, on this episode of Bowks Talking Bouts, very excited to be talking to an individual who is poised for a big rematch in a different combat sport and going to be taking that in on February the 13th as part of one Fight Night 40 and that one strawweight championship going to be contested for in the kickboxing ranks in the headline attraction as Stella Hemetsberger takes on Jackie Buntan. And great having Jackie back on Bowks Talking Bouts. How are you doing, Jackie?
I'm doing great. Thank you for having me.
No, it's cool. It's just interesting to see you guys running it back in a different combat sport. The last time out being for the Muay Thai title and everything like that, but now coming into this bout as the reigning kickboxing champion. So it seems like there's a certain importance piece to I guess cementing that champion status with the title defense. Cause I know some fighters have that as a particular importance piece.
Yeah, for sure. It's one thing to win a world title, but I think it shows even more importance to be able to keep that and defend that and stay on top. That's the hard part.
And it's interesting, like, I guess how much carryover component is there from the last fight to this one? Because, like I mentioned, they are different combat sports, but there's particular crossover components one would imagine. I mean, unique considerations to be had as well, but just curious as to how much crossover component there is from that first fight that can inform the rematch here for you.
Yeah, I mean, although it's the same fight and it's a rematch, different rule set, it's a different fight all in all. I always think that with every fight, even if it is a rematch, it's a different fight. It's a different Jackie that she's gonna be stepping in the ring with. So yeah, just different all around.
No, it's great. It's just cool to see just the whole journey because, like I said, we've done some interviews over the years, and just cool to see you carving out your championship legacy and stuff like that, and just your history with Janet Todd, like a legendary individual from one in her own right, and stuff like that. So just cool to see those legacy kind of martial arts pieces here, and like a key fight coming up here.
Yeah, no, thank you. Yeah, it's been a journey. It's I turned professional within one championship in 2021. Was that 5 years now? So was able to get a lot of work done and work my way up to world champion status. And my goal is and plan is to keep that, stay on top. So yeah.
And does that look like continuing to like author several kickboxing title defenses specifically? Like obviously you're squarely focused on this upcoming fight. Is there also that focus to be that two sport champion again and maybe try to vie for Muay Thai championship at a certain later juncture
Of
at all? Or what
course,
does that look
yeah.
like? Yeah.
Yeah, like when I first came into the company, that was my goal. I wanted to follow in my training partner's footsteps, Janet's footsteps, how she was going for both sports and to attain both titles. And that's exactly what I want. And I know I'm capable of doing it. But the first task at hand is defending this belt and stay on top and still.
Yeah, and I feel like there's something about a particular fight like this, just that champion medal kind of thing. Just like this is a person that you've had the prior setback to, you have the chance to kind of tie up the series and stuff like that. Like as much as those high watermark kind of moments, as it were, are particularly exciting. I feel like there's something about these kind of moments too, where you get to kind of like I guess reassess and really just run it back and just kind of see how that goes. See if you can kind of even up the series, like show that medal of the fighter. Is that how you're kind of looking at it in a certain regard?
Yeah, of course. Even if I come off a win and I go into the next fight, it's always to reassess my past performance and see what I can do better because there's always things you can do better. There's always things you could work on. And, and we're in the name of the game of combat sports. The losses, you're gonna lose some fights, but there's always a lesson. There's always growth behind it. So despite not having the outcome I wanted, growth came out of that, and that's probably one of the best things a person could ever ask for.
Yeah, and I feel like that's something you've really showcased as well, like a certain resilience piece and stuff like that. So that's always, I guess, part of like that broader kind of fighter arc and stuff like that. But just, cool to see as well, like just like a high level main event fight here back in like a, kickboxing stadium or Muay Thai stadium, rather, with such like a rich lineage and tradition kind of component. Like I always find that kind of cool, like as much as like one kind of has its own I guess representation of certain martial arts and etc. Like there's still that like well entrenched legacy kind of piece with like the venue and etc.
Oh, definitely. And especially obviously it's kickboxing, but started with Muay Thai. I had more Muay Thai fights than I did kickboxing, but Yeah, being here at the mecca of it all it's quite insane every time.
Is it something that you don't really get like accustomed to per se as much? Like there's always like a certain luster kind of element to it almost.
Yeah, I mean, you do something for so long, you could kind of go through the motions and it feels normal. But you kind of have to have perspective and peel things back and see things through a different eye sometimes, which I definitely have to do. Um, and kind of realize where I'm at and what I'm doing and the level I'm doing it at. So yeah, I'm just grateful for the whole experience.
No, for sure. Was this always kind of like that broader vision you had of it? Because you were kind of like talking about your journey in one a bit earlier, and maybe I misinterpreted, but it was almost like one of these things where it's like, oh, wow, like time has kind of flown by. Like I've done some cool things so far. Like, what has the, I guess, arc looked like in your journey in one so far? Because it seems like that upward trajectory piece has really been there and whatnot.
Yeah, I mean, my journey as a professional fighter so far has been, I think, exactly what my journey as a martial artist has been as a little girl. I started this not with dreams of being a world champion. I just started training because I loved it. It was a hobby, turned to passion, turned to obsession, and then got really good, wanted to compete. Everything kind of just happened in a domino effect. It wasn't something that I had planned out completely. And I think that's kind of shows in my professional career. I never was handed anything easy, never got handed an easy route. I worked for everything I've gotten in life, especially in my professional career as a fighter. And I think it just goes to show if you really never give up and believe in yourself 110% every day, magic happens.
Yeah, and it's interesting, I guess, going from like the 4 ounce gloves to like more of the kickboxing gloves now. Like, how much does that change, I guess, both the offensive and defensive consideration pieces to you, just being that one utilizes those smaller 4 ounce gloves for the Muay Thai fights and all?
Yeah, obviously with the 4 ounce gloves, you could cause a lot more damage, way less padding. Clinching, obviously not clinching in kickboxing, but you have fingers so you could grab on when you clinch. But I'd say defense as much as offense, but defense is the biggest difference. With the bigger gloves, you have more surface area to defend shots. Um, as in the 4 ounce gloves, a lot less surface area to defend shots. So yeah, I think that's the biggest thing for me is just getting used to the defense. The offense is I'm confident in how I hit, my accuracy, the power, speed, all of that. But I'd say the defense would be the biggest thing.
No, it's going to be so exciting. And I mean, I guess this is more for types like me who generate the headlines and write the articles and etc. But like, what's the headline going to read after this one, after the rematch kind of takes place and the dust settles, I guess, in your idealized outcome kind of vision, I suppose?
Man, I don't know anything catchy besides and still Jackie Buntan.
I guess that's why you go out there and put on the great fights and people like me do the headline pieces and etc.
Yeah, exactly that.
I'm super stoked for this fight. It's always been exciting watching you compete and, to the point of what I was saying with my other interview with Adrian Lee. I really do appreciate you making the time to talk during fight week, no less, Jackie. So thank you so much for, fitting me into the schedule and all.
Of course. Thank you for having me.
Yeah, no doubt, but I do want to be cognizant of your time. I don't know necessarily how long we've been talking for, and I don't want to press you too much because, champions headlining events got that busy media schedule and all. So I figured I'd give you the floor if you had any final thought you maybe did want to add as we're wrapping up on Bowks Talking Bouts.
No, you covered it all. You pretty much asked me anything. I'm also just like can't think of anything else to to put out there, but you asked great questions. Thank you.
Oh, I'm glad you enjoyed the questions. I certainly enjoyed the interview. And this is a very exciting rematch. Like I said, rematch, different combat sport, championship stakes. And yeah, super excited to check that out at One Fight Night 40. And yeah, thank you so much for the time to reiterate. And, you enjoy the rest of the fight week proceedings leading into this one. And yeah, just, enjoy the rest of your day and all that. Thank you.
Thank you. Have a good one.